welcome back to the channel. And today we are finally starting to plant the garden. I am late. I am just very late. I have never planted my garden this late before in June. If you've been following my videos, you know that I have some things put in. I have cold tolerant flowers that are doing really well, and I have some gladiolas I've started, but all the stuff in the greenhouse, like vegetables, seeds, all kinds of things, have not been started. And so today is the day. My husband and I were talking about this the other day because he hasn't planted the corn either. But you know, I don't think that we've missed a whole lot of growing time. We have had a very cold, rainy, and cloudy spring. We had a couple of weeks in there, just kind of sporadically throughout, that the warm weather would come for a few days, but then it would just go right away and it would be really dim again. And so even though I'm planting all these things so late, my tomatoes especially have enjoyed being in the greenhouse, and my peppers have enjoyed being in the greenhouse. They've been safe and protected in there and been growing, putting on a lot of growth in there, and some of them are starting to flower already. My seeds, I don't know how much extra germination time I would have had, because if it's cold and cloudy, it would have taken them much longer to germinate than it will like a day today that's 75 and sunny. So it is what it is. When July comes, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, to be honest with you. We have not had a last frost since the middle of April. So in theory, you could start putting some of your things out in the middle of April, but that does not mean they would have done well. And the weather has not been conducive for things growing well. So here we are. My husband came out with me the other day to help drill some holes into the plastic mulch that I have. And today's goal is seeds. Let me switch the camera around for you and show you kind of a layout of the garden. So all right in here, all the way up to where those are the cold tolerant flowers with the hoops. This is all going to be flowers. Sunflowers right here, which I'm going to succession plant for 5 weeks. Dahlias, a mix of all kinds of different flowers here. I have calendula, gladiolas, and then I'm gonna do a mix of different things down there. And then on the other side is vegetables. We're gonna have pumpkins, squashes. I can't remember all of my order. Have some plastic we need to fix. I'm gonna have green beans where the holes have already been drilled over there. So vegetables on this side, and vegetables mostly right here, a little bit of flowers, but mostly vegetables, and then all flowers back here. As I am working, I will share with you on the screen the different varieties of what I'm planting. Today we're going to focus on seeding some cosmos, doing our first succession planting of sunflowers, and then also getting the first succession plant of green beans in. So that is the goal for this afternoon, so that these things can start germinating, and maybe later this evening I'll get to do some real plants in the ground. But for today, this is the goal. So let's get started. Funny story is that I didn't realize with these black cosmos that there were only 4 seeds in this package when I purchased them. So I knocked them out in my hand, and you can see me kind of like staring at the package and staring at my hand, and I'm like, that's all that's in there? And I had dropped some on the ground. So I did find all 4, but I don't know that I would have purchased them if I realized it was only 4. But either way, I have a nice little variety of cosmos colors, sizes, textures. Also not pictured is a white night double click, which is going to be a real fluffy white one as well. So they just add a lot to a bouquet and really make the bouquet really pretty. And it's going to be honestly just pretty sitting out in the field too, growing real poofy and with some colors. This is where I'm planting my green beans, and I'm doing them in 2 successions this year because I seem to lose them a little bit in August, I think because of the heat. So I'm hoping I can kind of trick them into keep going with when the second succession comes to have a few more. I planted 100 seeds for this first succession. We eat a lot of green beans, and these green beans freeze really, really well. So I really want to have a nice storage for them in the winter time. These are just the Blue Lake green bean bush variety. This is where I'm putting my sunflowers. They are all the way in the back of the garden so they can get tall and unruly and not get in the way of anything else. All of my varieties are from Johnny's. I have the Pro Cut Peach. I have White Knight. I also have the Summer Provence. Then on top of that, I also have a Pro Cut Orange, which comes at a different time than the Provence. I have the Pro Cut Red. And then my favorite sunflower is the Strawberry Blonde sunflower. It's actually what made me fall in love with sunflowers. So I have 300 seeds. So I'm going to be succession planting these for 5 weeks. And so I'm going to do 60 seeds per week. And basically what I've done is taken all of my packets out, and I'm taking a fifth of whatever the total of the packet is and putting it in. So if there's 50 seeds in the packet, then I'm doing 10 of those seeds and planting them in. I'm going to have a nice variety popping up over the whole summer. I'm also going to have a nice variety even within that week that these will bloom. They're still going to bloom at different times. It's just going to create some really nice spacing for bouquets and just to look at as well. A really nice layout, I guess you could say, of sunflowers just keep coming up. Last year I planted all of my sunflowers at one time, and some of it worked because they were different days, and I thought that was enough of a variation, but it's really not, because last year we didn't have a last frost until the middle of October. And so from probably late September all the way until October, probably mid-September honestly, all the way until the middle of October, I had no sunflowers at all. So hopefully doing this way is going to help prevent that. It's a little bit of a risk because we could have a frost in the middle of September and then I lose all of them. But this is if that last frost really pushes out. We're back at it the next morning, and I am on to tomatoes. I am ready to get some tomatoes in the ground. They're going to go right here behind me. And the way that I have drilled these holes is that I've done them in triangles basically. And so the varieties that I have, I am keeping in multiples of 3. So either have 3, 6, I don't think I have 9 of any variety. I think 6 is the most that I have. I have a mix of cherry tomatoes. They could be either red, orange, yellow, or purple. So that what color they are is a surprise. I have Crimson Sprinter, which is a really good early tomato. I had my first ripe tomato last year before August, which in Vermont is really early. I have, what else do I have? A Cherokee tomato, which is like this big heirloom tomato, and it's got some purple in it. I just wanted something that had some color. It was nice for like slicing and sandwiches. I have Amish paste and Roma, which are great for sauces and for salsas, and that's what I'll be using those for. I think that's all I have. Oh, I have a few beefsteak. I have a few beefsteak for myself as well. And so I am going to be planting these varieties together in groups of 3. A few things I'm doing differently with my tomatoes this year. First is that I am not going to prune them very much. I'm not gonna go through and meticulously pull off the suckers. I was listening to Laura at Garden Answer one day, and she was making comments about tomatoes, and she for a while has not pulled off the suckers for her tomatoes. She just kind of lets them grow, and a lot of her reasoning is because she doesn't have time to do that. She has other things that she's doing, but she just made the point of like, you know, I have never had better tomatoes than when I don't prune them and I just let them go. And I kind of thought back to my 7-8 years of growing tomatoes. I was like, you know what? Those years that I didn't really take the time to do it, those were the best ones. The ones that I just meticulously pulled and picked at all the time, like they didn't grow as well. So I'm gonna just let them grow wild. They're gonna grow. I may have to trim them back to kind of keep them from going into different rows, but we're gonna just let them go. Another thing I'm doing is when I dig my hole, I'm going to put eggshells in the hole. They are supposed to give them some nutrients that really boost them when they get into the ground. Is it gonna help? I don't know. Is it gonna hurt? I don't think so. So I might as well try it. I've been keeping eggshells in the fridge so I can crush some in there with all of those. And so I have room for, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, I've lost count, 27, 30. I have room for 30 tomatoes. I think I put them a little close together. It'll be fine. As they get bigger, another thing I'm gonna do, which this is just later in the season when they're about to start producing, I'm gonna put some T-posts up and put some chicken wire all around the row. My dog loves tomatoes, and I realized at the end of last year that I lost a ton of tomatoes because he came and ate them. He will just come and pick one off the vine and eat it, and then he'll come back and like eat another one. And so we're not having that this year. So I'm gonna protect my tomatoes so as they get bigger, and then that will also give me something too if I need to like boost them up a little bit because they're getting so big. I will tie them to the sides of the chicken wire so that they can stay up a little bit. But let's go get these tomato plants from out of the greenhouse and get these planted. I had to change into some shorts. It's hot out here. All right, these things are going to be very happy to get in the ground. They're getting very tall. I have quite a few back there that are flowering. I've got them all laid out exactly the order I want them in, and varieties are together. So when you're planting a tomato, you really want to dig a hole that is very deep. Not just the surface of where they are in your pot, because they will actually grow more roots on the sides of them. You'll see your tomato and you'll look and you'll see kind of like little white hairs that are growing at the bottom. Those want to be roots. And so we are gonna give those space to be roots. These are all cherry tomatoes, so I gotta separate these out. I'm gonna pull this bottom leaf off. There's some other leaves that are starting. I'm gonna pull those out because I'm gonna plant this way down deep. Here is my eggshells. I'm gonna drop a little bit down in there. Yeah, kind of gross. Oh well. Put a few down in there. Plant this quite deep down in, even further. And really mound it up good. And I even like to kind of mound it up right next to the stem. Really put some soil up there so that those roots can develop and it can grow more roots. There we go. One done. 29 more to go. I am about a fourth of the way done with the tomatoes. I kind of went through and counted, and out of all of those tomato plants, those about 30 tomato plants, I'm pretty sure that like half of them are already have flowers on them, which is really exciting to me. Starting the tomatoes earlier and then also having the greenhouse so that they could go out in there and put on growth from natural light has really made all the difference in these plants, like the size of the plants, but also just the sturdiness and strength and productivity of the plants. As long as we don't have a summer like last year, which was just water, 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 the tomato plants did not like that. You know, it was just, they would rot right on the stem before you even picked them because there was just so much water. As long as we don't have a season like that again, I think we're going to have a really good tomato year. I feel really, really good about it. So I'm going to cut this video off here with some direct sowing that we got done and the tomatoes. I have lots of other things to do, so I will see you later this week or later next week to get some more things in the ground. But thank you for coming along and enjoying. Please pop any comments that you may have below, any questions you may have below, and we're going to head in and have some lunch. So we'll see you next time. Until then, keep growing. Bye.